welcome to another video on It's All Black and White TV, and tonight I'm joined by John from John Sinclair TV. How are you, John? All right?
Good evening to you, Tony. How we doing? All right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. That was a nice little short break, wasn't it? And we're back on. So yeah, tonight we're having an early transfer show. You know, pre-January. It's not that far away. So before I start, if you like what you see, then please hit those like buttons. It helps push us up the search settings. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed, then please subscribe and hit the bell notification, and that will tell you when any videos are uploaded or go live. So I'll go into any comments we've got there, and we've got Gary straight in there. Hello again, lads. Hello again, Gary. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Yeah, so we're going to talk about a few different transfers tonight. We went through a few on your show, John, and I've got some maybe similar, but then I've also got some which are probably totally different that you've probably not even thought of, John. So, yeah, and guys, if you want to put your comments in the chat, who you think we should sign in January, then, you know, bung them in the chat and we can have a chat about them as well. So, let me then pull up the first one. So, my first one, which is going to probably shock a few people here. Okay. So we're going to go with this guy. And this guy is Bruno Sosa, who plays for Stuttgart. He's a left back. He's Croatian. And he's been ripping it up this season in Bundesliga. He is going to be a hot property. He's highly rated. He's 22. And yeah, I mean, have you heard of him, John?
I've never heard of this guy, to be honest with you, man, Tony. But you know what I mean? Like, look, I don't know a lot about him, but what I do know is, I mean, Stuttgart sacked the manager during the early season as well, not getting the results of that, and they kind of struggled again in the Bundesliga. But I have no idea who he is, and I just can't say a lot, mate. I'm sorry, but
well, he's 24, John. Yeah. He's played 10 games, no goals, and 3 assists in 10 games. And you know, he can play in the midfield as well, and he can play as a left wing back as well. So if you had a back three, he could play as a left wing back. So want to watch out. He's valued probably around about 20 million. You know, if we're looking for a left back, then this is the guy, or one of the guys anyway. You know, I don't know what people in the chat think. I've seen a few highlights with him, and he doesn't look too bad at all. Keep an eye out for him, Bruno Sosa. I mean, I believe Man United were looking at him before they got Malacia. Yeah. So
Ramon's just calling us, Tony. Give us a minute, man. Just give 1 minute.
No worries, mate.
Hang on.
I'll be out there. There we go. So John will be back in a moment. Yeah, so Bruno Sosa, he's 24. He can play midfield, but he can also play left wing back as well. Doesn't look a bad prospect from what I've seen. You know, and it may be a thing that we have to go out and get him, but let's see. Sefton's in the house. Hello to you, Sefton. Hope you're fine. How's your under 23s getting on playing the Macums? At half time, it was 1-0 to Newcastle, courtesy of Joe White. I think the second half has kicked off now, and still 1-0 at the moment. Yeah, so that's the score at the moment. Ian's in the house as well. Oh, hang on. Yes, John back.
Sorry, it's just my mum just calling us for some reason, but
oh, no worries, mate. No worries. Harry, Tony, and John, hope you're well, lads. Yeah, we're absolutely fine, mate. Yeah, just saying, John, it's still 1-0 at the moment at St James's Park against the Macums.
Brilliant.
You know, I hope we beat them tonight. We need to, don't we?
Yeah, but yeah, that's what we do it because we want to beat them anywhere we can.
Yeah, but Bruno Sosa doesn't look a bad player. As I say, plays for Stuttgart and he's highly rated, and he could have a good tournament for the Croatia in the World Cup as well. So may have to be one to keep an eye on in the World Cup and watch him and see how he gets on.
Absolutely.
Of course, we had, we were looking for a left back in January, and now could we go back for this left back? Botman's under 21 mate, Mitchell Bakker of Bayern Leverkusen. I mean, good left back. Again, plays alongside Botman in under 21s. We did offer 15 million. I think because they couldn't get a replacement, that's why we didn't sign him. I don't know why we didn't go back in the summer for him. What's your thoughts on this one, John?
I think he's a decent left back for me, to be honest with you. He likes to get up and down the pitch. He's got a lovely left foot on him as well. And look, I mean, Bayern rates him quite highly, sort of thing as well. But at the time, like you just said there, the reason they couldn't sell him is because they couldn't get a replacement on time. But whether he's happy at Bayern, I don't know. They're struggling at this moment in time. I know they're around the bottom in the Bundesliga sort of thing as well. But look, I mean, I think he needs to do a lot more. He's a young lad, he's a young kid, but are we going to get him? I think he might have moved on from him, to be fair. But if they do go back for him and they get him, I'll be surprised. But I just don't think they're going to get him. But he looks promising. He looks a promising left back for me.
Yeah, he does, John. I mean, he does have error prones in him, but
that is the thing. That's another thing.
But Eddie Howe get that out of him? That's the thing as well. So we're not 100% sure. I mean, it's one of those. But I mean, it may not be a bad shout, but I suppose it depends how he plays as well, John. Cesare says hi again, Tony and John. Hi, Cesare. Hope you're well, mate. But yeah,
hi,
I mean,
hi, good.
I mean, if at 15 million, I mean, it's a steal, but then we got Target for 15 million. It just concerns me why Target's not getting the game. I know Burns playing well at left back, but when you've got a more natural left back in Target, it isn't. I mean, to me, it looks like there's why is he not in this team? Why is he not playing? I mean, apart from obviously Burn doing well. I mean, what's your thoughts, John? Do you think there's something going on behind the scenes with Target? Do you think, do you think Eddie trusts him or?
I don't know what it is, but I just don't understand why he's not playing a left back. I just don't get. It's just I think Dan Burns playing really well at left back. Do you know what I mean? And we talked about competition for places, right? He's got to have to fight first place. But at this moment in time, I mean, he's just got to be patient and just deal with it because he will get games. But at the moment in time, I don't know what it is. He may have to play second fiddle. One thing I'm going to say, I spoke to Simon Fogard on Friday, the Villa fan, and when he was at Villa, he had exactly the same problem as well. Couldn't get in the team, and he threw his prams. He just threw a dummy, towards out the prams. He just wanted to play first team football. Got it at Newcastle, and I just hope that he doesn't do it here. I really don't, because if he does, then we got a problem on our hands. Simple as that. But as a left back, I'd look for someone better than the likes of Bakker as well, because yes, he's got injury, he's got mistakes in him as well. I've noticed that as well, but it had to be someone decent. I know a lot of people are saying, "Why not give Jamal Lewis a chance?"
Yeah, good to. I mean, Jamal Lewis hasn't really. He was doing well until he got injured against Liverpool, wasn't he? But after that, he just seemed to. He just couldn't get back in the team, and then he was dropped from the 25-man squad in January. So, yeah, it was a bit of a shock, But yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happened there, I really don't. Sefton says, just past jelly white teeth to the trick-or-treaters. I hope they weren't Klopp's, mate.
Exactly.
Cesare says, Tony, I've just followed you on Twitter. I feel like send me upcoming shows and I'll retweet. No problem, Cesare. Thank you. John knows I'm more than happy to help when I'm available. Yeah, absolutely, mate. No problem, Cesare. Thank you very much for that, mate.
We got Cesare.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't know with the Jamal Lewis thing. I don't know if it's just the fact. I don't know. I mean, he played against Tranmere, didn't he? But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Jamal Lewis might have to move on, and then after that go somewhere else to maybe get him back to where he was. But it's another player. It doesn't seem like Eddie Howe fancies him either. So I don't know. It's a strange one. It's a strange conundrum. I mean,
yeah,
I like Matt Targett, and I'd like to see him
do.
do well, but I just can't understand why. I know Burns played well, but I still don't get what's going on. Unless there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, because now leaks do not come out of this club. That's the thing.
That is the thing.
It's watertight.
Is that they want to keep things quietly, do you know what I mean? But there's only so much time before you know what's going on. But the one thing I say, right, we don't know. No one knows what's happened behind the scenes. So it's just guesswork. But only Eddie knows what's going on. But we'll see what happens in January. I mean, if he has been linked to a club or two, then we know that the guy's unhappy. But we need him here until the end of the season at the most.
Yeah. I mean, he has the next player I'm going to go on to, John, after I show Alan's comment. Evening, Tony and John. Evening, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. So this next one, this is probably one that you haven't come across as yet, John, and I'll just get him up in a moment if I can find it. Can't get his picture up at the moment, I don't think. Hang on. Tell you what, we'll go on to this one. This guy, Barry Ashiel. I mean, we were linked with him last year, and then he got injured, didn't he? For Monaco. Had some sort of leg injury, I think. And but this guy, I think he's a good centre half, 22. Strong. I think he could do a job, and he could be one for the future. I mean, we've got to remember Shaw's 31 now, so eventually we're going to have to replace Shea. And why not bring another youngster in alongside Botman, the same age, and these two could then grow together? I mean, I think this lad's great. I think he'd probably cost you about £40 million. What's your thoughts, John, on Barry Ashiel?
You know what it is, right? This guy's a unit. He's 6'4". He's an absolute unit, right? He's won 2 French caps to his name as well. Just making the French national team, and he's played 100-odd games for the French league side, and he's been at the club for 5 seasons, and he's only 21 years of age. I think this guy's a unit. I would have no problem signing this guy. I'm not going to lie, but if he does come in, and he just said there, eventually he's going to have to replace Fabian Schär, but Fabian Schär is playing so well this season, right, alongside Botman, and if you can get him to replace Schär for the long term, then I think I have no problems. I think he's an absolute beast, and he's quick, and he reads the game, and I tell you something now, right, I mean, him and Botman at the back, I tell you something, not much strikes going to get past them both if you do get this guy, and oh, man, I take him all day long. He is going to be an absolute unit. Young lad, 21 years old, and he's just going to get better and better and better. Do not be surprised if he starts in the World Cup. He's that good.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the bench last week for Monaco, but and he was an unused substitute. But I mean, this lad is a baller, John, and
brings that
absolutely. Back. I would absolutely take him at the drop of a hat, John. I mean, he's a great great defender, and he's physique as well. He's quite strong built, isn't he? So he is. He looks as if it looks like he could cut it in the Premier League, and that's the thing. We've got to see if he can cut it, but if he does it, but then Eddie Howe will work his magic on him, won't he?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he's played all levels for the national team, under 16, 17, 18, 19, under 21s. Now he's a full French international. Eddie can bring the best out of young players as well, and is well documented, man. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you have to have faith in young players as well, and he's a young player. I mean, people say like, oh, he's 21, he's got playing reserves and this and that and talk about him. Well, no. I mean, Andrew Santos, right? I mean, he's 18 years old and he's got 30-odd appearances to his name, scoring 8 goals, yeah? And he's plays with under 21 for the national team, 2 goals and 4. And look, on Bashir, I mean, look, I think he's Premier ready. He's Premier League ready. And I think he could cause a lot of problems. But my only concern is, right, I think some German clubs might be after him as well. I think it'll be next season, but I've got a feeling that some German clubs want him as well. There's a German player called Macrae as well that plays for Wolfsburg as well. He's very, very quick. And I'll tell you something as well. He's a brilliant player. Absolutely brilliant. There are some decent French players at boot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to be fair, John, I mean, you know, even if we didn't get him in January, but we're going next summer, it would be a great signing because he would do so well. You know, I think the Premier League would suit him, because he look like I see he's very physical as well. You know, and yeah, I think this guy could be the future as well. Put him alongside Botman, and you know, and both the same age and they grow together. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, John. Yeah.
I agree, man. I agree. Just, you know, we'd like good players come for the club. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Get him in.
I mean, you know, I'll just share something in a moment, and then but this guy, like I say, you can have a little look on a video here of him, but this guy is, you know, I mean, look the size of him. He's a unit, isn't he?
I tell you what, he looks clean in the tackle, doesn't he? He looks clean in the tackle. He leads the game. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, his skill, really.
Yeah. I mean,
left-footed as well, by the way.
Yeah. But remember, Botman can play with both feet, so Botman could play right or left centre-back. But, yeah, he's a unit, isn't he, John?
He is, and he is so quick as well, by the way, for a big guy. I'm telling you, if you look at him.
Yeah. I mean, that's in the
what I like about
him. Yeah.
What I like about him, he defends properly, doesn't he? He defends so properly there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's just, you know, but I just thought I would show that anyway. But that short video, but he looks really, really good. I'll just dive into some comments before we go to the next one. Alan says, evening, Tony and John. Yeah. Lewis is an odd one for me, says Chesry. You'd think that if Howe can get something out of Kraft, then he can improve Lewis, but insert any way you trust. Yeah, it is a strange one with Lewis. I don't know what's happening with him. I just don't know if he's just, I don't know what it is. I just don't know if Eddie doesn't fancy him or whatever. I don't know, but there's something there that's not right. Paul says, hey, back on, just been to walk the dogs. Well done, mate. Hope you've had a good dog walk.
You got Paul.
Andrew says, hi, Cesare. Hi to Andrew anyway, from me and John.
Hi.
Andrew saying hi to Cesare.
Big up, Ches.
Ian talking to Cesare.
Big up, Ian.
Alan says, I think Eddie Howe knows who he wants to sign in January. Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's no problem why we can't have a bit of a, you know, we can't have a bit of like excitement now and thinking, oh, who can we sign, you know, because times have changed now. When we used to be owned by a former owner, who I don't really want to name, but we never got excited in a transfer window because it was always the last day of a window that somebody coming and it maybe been a loan signing. But now we look at players and we'll be watching the World Cup and you'll be doing the same, John, and probably people in the chat, you'll be looking, you'll be thinking, well, actually, he would do for us. He would be a great player for us. He would do well, you know, and that we'd do with shopping list while we're watching the World Cup. And because that's the sort of market we're shopping in now, John. Do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, look, if you're going to buy a player for the World Cup, there's a word of caution, right? if he has a wonderful, wonderful game in the World Cup, right, be cautious. He might not be the same when it comes to a club, because I've seen great players has a wonderful World Cup, but just doesn't do in the Premier League or in the big leagues in Europe as well. Ed Hadji Diouf was one of them, right? Went to Liverpool for 8 million quid, right? Didn't cut it. It was out for Bolton, by the way, but he didn't cut it for Liverpool at all whatsoever. They paid a lot of money for this guy, yeah? And there's a few others as well who's gone in, like Ila Dumitrescu as well. Wonderful for Romania. Went to Tottenham, completely flopped, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You just got to be careful what you spend your money on. Do you know what I mean? And just to have a wilder World Cup, it don't mean they're going to have a fantastic time when it comes to your club. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's difficult, but, be careful. But I think you've got to be smart in the transfer market. We know who to get. Eddie Howe knows who he wants to improve the team. And he ain't going to buy any player for the sake of it, yeah? But if you're looking for a centre-back in the summer, Bashir will be fantastic. I take him all day long. And I think it'd be brilliant for Newcastle United. I really, really do. And then probably prior to be a sub for a year until Fabian Schär decides to leave when his contract is up. And then we'll just see how it goes. But, we see what happens, man.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what it's about, John, building a squad as well.
Absolutely. I mean, building the squad, you got to do it every single season. You got to improve every single season as well and get better players coming in. Our development as well has got to be fantastic, as I'm sure it will. We're going to get great young players going to come to Newcastle so get developed and break into the first team, go out on loan for experience, come back and show us you're going to be a fantastic player. But I think the setup of Newcastle absolutely fantastic. I think for me, Dan Ashworth, fantastic. Steve Nickson, okay. I mean, he probably knows what he's doing, but Darren Eales, the chief exec, I tell you what, the future's bright in Newcastle. And I tell you what, this is the club. We got our club back. We love our club, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, the club is back, and
back.
I totally agree, John. And it's just great to be where we are at the moment,
Exactly.
But if we want to finish and push on to finish in that top four this season, then we need to be signing somebody in January that can help us get to that next level as well. So we'll come on to more in a little bit. Cesare says, Ian, all good, mate. He's talking to Ian. Nice try, Chippers. Not catching me out with that one, mate. Ian says, any centre-back we sign needs to be a ball-playing centre-half, as it's now essential to our playing style. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Badiashile, I think he would fit that as well. I mean, he looks very good. I mean, you saw the little short clip I put on there of him. I mean, he gets tackles in right. He's strong. Yeah, why not give him a go? Ian talking to Chip Ass. Gary says, I was watching the Steve Wraith show the other day and was saying PIF are buying out beIN Sports. Question, would Hairy Hands and Gray keep their jobs and get shown the door? Well, that's an interesting one. I mean, I didn't realise PIF are looking to buy beIN Sports out. I'm quite surprised if he's going to sell out to the Saudis, but obviously he must be wanting to. Mr. Khalefi, who's the owner of PSG. I reckon Andy Green, both him and Hairy Hands will be shown the door, I think, because they were anti-takeover, weren't they? So I think PIF would get rid of them, definitely.
I bet that'd be brilliant. I bet that'd be amazing if they did that, Tony. Honestly, man. And then I tell you what, they're the ones who didn't want to take over. Yeah, they tried to have the last laugh, but at the end of the day, we could have the last laugh. They don't like it at all whatsoever. That is why they don't want to say Newcastle that much. They don't. They're not praising us. Fine.
No, John, exactly. And I mean, Hairy Hands was even on last week saying move the training ground to London so you can attract players. Well, sorry, even Eddie Howe says that's a no-start. That's a non-starter. So why is he even coming out with comments like that? You know what? The guy is a muppet, and it's just because he's Hoffman's mate, who was the Premier League chairman. And it was funny how when we got the takeover, Hoffman said in January I'm gone. He put his resignation in and handed his 3 months notice in. So funny that, isn't it? Because he obviously was brought into the Premier League to try and stop this takeover and realised he couldn't, so he had to go. His job was done. But we got the takeover, and that's all that matters. I Like Coffee says, good evening again, John, Tony and John and all. Good evening. He loves this, doesn't he?
He loves you, I think.
He says, what about Marcus Thuram as a striker? He's having a good season. Yeah, Lilian Thuram's son, isn't it? You know, his dad wasn't a bad centre-off, was he, for France?
I tell you what, though, follow his career when he was at Parma, that guy was an absolute beast. That guy is absolutely brilliant. He really is. He reads the game like a book. He's quick, and his tackling's superb as well. And I tell you, it doesn't dive and tackle as well. And listen, at the end of the day, right, a little Thuram, right, I mean, he should have won like Scudettos in Italy, and he hasn't done it. That is the thing. And it could have, I mean, I wouldn't say they couldn't do more, but the team could have done more. But he is an absolute legend. And he's a World Cup winner too.
Absolutely, John. I mean, you know, So I've not seen a lot of his son, to be honest. I mean, have you seen much of him, John? Or
he plays for I think he plays for Mönchengladbach, if I remember serves correctly. So if he's a big guy, 6'4", he doesn't score a lot of goals. That is the thing, but it's good in the air, and he can hold up players great as well. And listen, at the end of the day, if he's going to make the Premier League move, he has to do it now or next season, because it's going to be too late for him. He's played in the Bundesliga for quite a few seasons now, and look, I think he'd do well in the Premier League. Absolutely no problems at all.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Gary's in the chat. He says, hi, Tony, John, and everyone in the chat. Hi, Gary. Hope you're well, mate. Big up, mate. Big up. He's talking to other people. And Cesare, let's hit those likes, guys, and get this channel some exposure. Thank you very much, Cesare. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I Like Coffee. If the takeover never happened, we'd probably be in West Brom's position in the Championship. Probably, yeah. I mean, you know, look at the mess Steve Bruce has left them in. Is Cher injured? He went off with something, I think, on Saturday. He felt a slight tightness, but I don't think it's going to rule him out of Sunday's game. But I think we'll have to keep an eye on that one. People are concerned about Botman, but he went off a little bit gingerly. But Eddie Howe's now confirmed Botman's 100% fit. There's nothing wrong with him. He was just knackered. That's all. He often played that 3 games within that week as well. So, and then last Saturday. So yeah, they're fine as well. So hopefully Cher's all right. If not, it'll have to be Lascelles, won't it?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. I mean, you don't know what's Lascelles gonna get out of him. So I'm gonna play Dan Burn and Ben Target left back.
Yeah, maybe do that. Yeah,
please do not play Lascelles.
No. Gary says, I like coffee. Let's talk to them. Chipper says, I personally think no matter who we sign, we need players happy to be also part of a squad and not certain starters. Yeah, absolutely, Chippers. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. You know, me and John said this earlier. Like, if, say, we brought a left winger in and Maxi was on the bench, he might start getting, he might start shouting, saying, oh, well, I want to be playing, I should be the first starter. But like I said, John, the thing is, with Maxi now, he's got to realise he's now playing in a squad, and he's not the standout player now in the team. We've got more standout players in the team, and it is a collective group. So, so Maxi's going to have to start realising it's going to be a squad game, and he may have to be rotated from time to time as well. Great. And if he does shout off and he doesn't want to be here, then I'm sure Eddie will show him the door, because Eddie only wants people with good characters in the club and not anybody who thinks they're bigger than the club, because no player is bigger than any club whatsoever. Ronaldo thinks he's bigger than Man United, doesn't he? But he's not.
The thing is, like Tony as well, I'll go and get Napoli's Kvaratskhelia next summer. If ASM does score, go and get this guy. I tell you something now, I have this guy over ASM any day of the week. This guy is absolutely, he only costs 8 million quid. Georgian international. This guy is absolutely fantastic. Replacing Lorenzo Insigne, it's not an easy feat, yeah. But this guy, he is very, very close of overtaking him.
Thing is, John, would he cut it in the Premier League though?
100%, no problems at all. I watched enough of him, and this guy, he's 6 foot, no problems at all, sort of thing. You know what? If you rough him up, he get yours back. You know what I mean? If he goes past yes, you're done. Very, very skillful, technically brilliant. First touch is there, and he scores some cracking goals as well.
Yeah. Sounds like one to watch then, John.
He is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I know De Laurentiis it's a tough negotiator for Napoli. I mean, they fleeced PSG 55 million for Cavani, right? And they tried to fleece us on Arsenal for 85 million for Osimhen as well. So they're not easy to deal with, Napoli.
No, not at all, John. No Italian teams are they?
I mean, they did very well getting 34 million for Koulibaly to Chelsea, man, and he only cost 5 million quid to Napoli.
And he can't cut that in the Premier League, can he?
I say nothing.
You know what? Now I've said that, John, he'll come to St James's Park and he'll play against us now, an absolute blinder.
I tell you what, you just never know. I mean, I think, I'll be honest with you, right? I mean, he's out injured in a minute, yeah? And I think they missed him. I think they really missed him. Thiago Silva's class. I mean, Macy said that they can't play together, yeah? But Graham Potter plays in the back three. I don't think Koulibaly can play in the back three. And a back four, brilliant. In a back three, then he's not used to it because he's never played in the back three. Not enough.
Yeah, he's found out.
Yeah. We'll see what he does in the back four then.
Cesare says, Chippers, spot on, agree. Ian says, agree with Chippers as well. Andrew says, Keys is just an ignorant turd. Yeah, he absolutely is, Andrew. Ian says, it's deja vu, folks. Yeah. Gary says, I'm not expecting big moves in January unless Piff decide to go all in for the Champions League places. Yeah, I think if we're still up there, I think they will, Gary. I think we'll go for somebody big, you know. And when you're in the top four, you can attract players better players as well. Paul says, hairy fans forgot to mention the best clubs on the north and no player from City, Liverpool or Man U live in London. Absolutely. This is the same drum that I bang on. I mean, you get players going to Man United, Manchester City, Liverpool. That's in the northwest. We're in the northeast. What's the difference? Yeah, we're a little bit higher up than them. Not majorly higher up. It's only like literally 2.5 hours drive from Manchester to Newcastle. So, I don't get it, John. I really don't get it. Why everybody's so fixated on going to London. You know, if it was me, I know I'm being biased because I'm from Newcastle now. You know, I lived 40 years of my life there. But yeah, I just think no, you can't beat Newcastle. And you know, I mean, my other half, she's from Cambridge, and she's been up Newcastle loads of times. And you know what? She says it's the most friendliest place she's ever been to.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, London isn't everything. Don't get us wrong. I mean, London's a nice city. Don't get us wrong. It depends on how long you go. But if you want to go there for the quiet, but you don't want to get hassled, you don't want to take your wife and kids out for a meal sort of thing, so you don't get recognised. Okay, cool. I mean, there's a capital city, right? I get it. Yeah, it's a capital city. Great. But everything doesn't revolve around London, right? Let's be real.
Yeah.
You just said there, you got the Northwest teams, you got 2 Manchester clubs, Liverpool, right? And you also got, you got us as well now. Do you know what I mean? You got us as well. Yeah, we're in the mix as well, man. I mean, yes, if you want to go from Newcastle to London, get an EasyJet. It's only an hour's flight, not even that. You know what I mean? It's not that long. And then just get yourself a taxi or get yourself a chauffeur sort of thing, then go to London, then you can take your wife and kids to show around London sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But in Italy, right, Rome's the capital, right? They don't want to come in just because it's Rome. You got fantastic cities like Milan, which is further up north in Italy, Rome, south in Italy, Naples, south in Italy as well, right?
Yeah.
Got Florence, beautiful. Bologna's beautiful. They're not a big club, but look, at the end of the day, right? You know, they want to play, nice cities in Italy, sort of thing. But London doesn't involve everything in London. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they want to count on London, right? If they come to Newcastle and look at Bruno, has Bruno mentioned anything about London? No. Joelinton mentioned about anything in London? No. Yeah? You look at the players we've got, right? Isak just paid 63 million quid. I'll tell you something now, right? If we win the trophy, right? Or if we win a title, right? Let me tell you something, right? They'll be all craving to come to Newcastle United. Why? Because they love the passion. They love the passion. I remember one Marcel Desailly, right? The French international, right? Won everything, right? I think he's won the Premier League, by the way. He once said, the passion of the North East is much better than it is in London. And he also said to Chelsea fans, get a life, please. Get a life. Wise up. Line yourself up. Be like Newcastle fans. Chelsea fans didn't listen.
No, exactly, John. Exactly. Ian says, any update on the Sunderland score? Yeah, after 78 minutes, Newcastle still 1-0 up, but are now reduced to 10 men. Is Jayton Akuk received a second yellow card, so still 1-0 to Newcastle at the moment over Sunderland. So hopefully that stays the same, or we get a second goal. We're now up to 85 minutes and still 1-0 yet. So there we go. We're down to 10 men now. Chesry says, if we're still 4th or 5th by January, do you think we'll take the risk and get players ready for Champions League? Honestly, I can see we're making a push because I think if PIF say that we're in this top 4 in January, they're going to think, hang on a minute, this club's going to earn a lot of money out the Champions League. So we'll get the players to push us up there and get us in and keep us in that top 4. I would love to finish in the top 4 at the end of the season because that then sends a message out to the big 6. We've arrived.
Do you agree, John? Absolutely, Tony. I don't see why not. I mean, look, we're in a great position now. Let's push on because we haven't got a big squad. I'm not going to lie. If we get a couple of injuries, we could be knackered. But we need to beef up the squad, right? We need to beef up the squad. That's all we need to do, right? If we can get 2 or 3 more players in, quality coming, right, and get us to the top 4, they want to come here. They're going to love it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it means getting Pulisic as well on loan, right? If he doesn't get injured, okay, cool. But we need another midfielder. We need another 1 or 2 fullbacks as well, if doable. Do you know what I mean? Tony, if we defend properly and don't get any injuries, right, and carry on where we are and score goals up front and keep Callum fit, anything can happen. You got Isak to come back yet. You got ASM to come back yet. You need another midfielder sort of thing. We need a covering right side midfielder for Miggy. If Miggy gets injured, we need quality stepping in. And then hopefully we may just get that top 4. And Joelinton, right, has to be playing in central mid alongside Bruno. And someone's going to be Sean Longstaff. Don't get us wrong. I think he's playing right.
He's doing all right. He's getting back to his best now. And, I mean, he's slowly getting there. I mean, if we can get him back to the way he was under Rafa, we've got a player on my hands, and long may it continue, Sean Longstaff. I thought he had a great game on Saturday.
He's done well.
And I just want to see that continue now. And I just want to see him unleash one of his rockets in the top corner. And then that might get him really going. Same with Willock. He just needs a goal, and I think he'll be on a run.
Do you know what Alan it is, Tony? Go on.
Yeah. He says, get hairy hands on your show, Tony and John. I'll tell you what, I would love to get Richard Keys on, but I'll tell you now, he wouldn't dare come on because the questions we would ask him, he wouldn't answer anything. So, I know it would be gold to get him on, but I don't think he would come on. Do you think he would come on, John?
100% no, I just don't think he will. I don't think he's sure his face. If he does, then I tell you something, right? I'll make sure I get you on as well, Tony, and it's going to be one hell of a show. And the questions will be asked. I'm not going to be having a go at him, right? I'll let the chat say as well. Did they say like Harry doesn't hear that sort of thing? Then I probably won't display it at all whatsoever. But if you want to say what you want, but at the end of the day, right, you guys questions like why you don't want us to take over the Hotman. We're going to take mainly about the takeover. That's what we can talk about, really.
Absolutely. I mean, but why was he so anti-takeover? That's the thing as well, I'll tell you why, because he's working for beIN Sports, who done the collective lobbying, so he's going to help his employers out, try and get the message through. Didn't work, and we got the takeover. Gary says, Chesney, I think they'll hope we can get European football. It's difficult getting the right players in January, though. Yes, it is difficult, Gary, but there again, sometimes it can work a little bit easier if we're sitting in that top four as well, because then players look at you and think all of a sudden, wow, hang on a minute, this club's going places. Look where they were last year. They were sitting bottom of the league. Now, they're fourth top in the Champions League places. I mean, it's a huge difference, to where we are now. So I think we're about 15 points better off than we were last season. We couldn't buy a win at this time last season. Now we're fourth top and we've had 6 wins already.
Exactly. I mean, last season everyone was laughing at us to get relegated, right? And now, look where we are now. People are just jealous of where we are now, right? I mean, I'm getting people in Bristol come up in the gym and say, "Your team's doing well, John. You're doing fantastic." Not one bad thing about us. Not one bad thing about Newcastle United down here. They just think it's absolutely brilliant down here. Do you know what I mean? And they even come to us and say, "Look, I hope you get top 4. I truly believe, in my opinion, I think you could do this." Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't rule it out, Tony, because we have got the best defence in the Premier League. We're winning football matches, and we have got good players at this football club as well. And when we're under pressure at the back, we deal with it so easily. Botman's tackle's brilliant. Fabian Sherry's a game. Dan Burn gets mucking as well. And Kieran Trippier doing Kieran Trippier things, That back 4 is absolutely settled. This is the best back 4 I have seen for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, John. I mean, I've never seen it. I mean, you go back to Philip Albert and Darren Peacock, what a great centre-half pairing they were. But I've never seen a back 4 as strong as what we've got now, and absolutely terrific to see. It's just great, and long may it continue as well, John. I mean, and we're only going to get better in the back. We're going to bring stronger defenders in as well. So, we're going to have cover everywhere on the pitch eventually. Alan says, it's so-called top 6 clubs in the Premiership are now scared of us. Absolutely.
Totally. And the back 4 only cost us, if you look at that coming back 4 we got now, only cost us, 63 million quid? 63 million quid, that back line, with Nick Pope, 73 million with a back 5.
Yeah. 7 million less than what Maguire cost Man United.
Exactly. And, what it is, right? I mean, if we do get top 4, finish top 4 at the end of the season, let me tell you something, right? I mean, there's going to be so many people to go abroad. You know what I mean? So many people to go abroad. But we'll probably be in Group D. I don't care what group we're in, as long as it's in the Champions League. When they come to St. James's Park, they're in for a shock, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, definitely, John. And I mean, they're going to love coming to St. James's Park because they're going to probably love the atmosphere as well, especially away fans. But they'll get fright when they're stuck in level 7. I just hope many of them don't have vertigo because they're not like being up there, will they?
Not at all. They will hate it. Look at Real Madrid. We have to go on the top end as well. We go to Real Madrid. If you go to Barca, we go right to the very top. Do you know what I mean? Lap of the gods.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, right? I mean, the atmosphere's going to be so electric. Hearing that Champions League tune at St. James's Park, Tony, absolutely love. And I'm going to try and book some time off as well. So I will not be booking any days off at all next year until we know we're in the Champions League and find the dates, and I'll be there. That means I have to take 2 days. That's 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, because with the Wednesday game, you'll have to have Wednesday and Thursday off, won't you? So
I have to.
Because of travelling. But it's worth it, though, John. It's worth it.
Absolutely. I'll be there. And I'll definitely do like a watch along as well for the way as well. Even if Paul's doing it, I'll be doing it as well. So
yeah, why not, John? Cesare says, yeah, Gary, that's true. You do get screwed over in January. Chipper says, EasyJet don't fly to London. No, they don't, Chippers. I mean, I used to fly from Newcastle, London, Stansted quite a bit on EasyJet, and then they took the service off. I even got on it on one Saturday, and the Mackham players were on the same flight as well. And I had my Newcastle top on, and they didn't like it. I remember them all looking at me. But yeah, they stopped doing that service, which was a shame because it was always full when I was on. Paul says the northeast coasts are so underrated. I have videos on my phone of dolphins swimming down the northeast coast. You can't see that in London, no, can you? No, exactly. Absolutely not at all.
Not a chance.
And I Like Coffee says so many London clubs in the Premier League. Yeah, there is, and let's just hope. Let's hope Millwall don't come up because we don't want them in the Premier League next season. Alan says, John, would you move back to Newcastle?
I wouldn't rule it out, right? But my mum's here, sort of thing. But if anything happens to my mum, touch wood, I hope it doesn't, then I would never ever rule moving back up to Newcastle. You know what I mean? But I've got my job here. I'm happy here. And you know what? If I do that, it will eventually happen. 100%, yeah. Alan.
There you go, Alan. There's your answer. Ian says, Brazilians love the tune, lads. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mirandina loved the tune, didn't he? You know, he absolutely loved it up here, Mirandina.
He did.
Chipper says, I love a Brazilian, literally. Sefton says, let's laugh at him, poor hairy hands. Yeah, absolutely, Sefton, absolutely. Gary says, agree, Tony Longstaff was fantastic on Saturday. Yeah, he was, Gary, absolutely, mate. Ian says, ask him how long he's going to last in his job when PIF get 30% of the company. The moon-faced plonker. Yeah, exactly. Night and A Gaming. Hi, mate. Nice to see you. What's this about Titus Bramble? He really doesn't get enough credit. Titus Bramble.
Well, look, honest day, when he plays
Titus Shambles,
it's Irish, but at the end of the day, he just makes so many mistakes. Do you know what I mean? It's like Tyrone Mings.
Yeah.
But Tyrone Mings is poor, by the way. Very poor.
He is. Yeah.
Shocking.
He is. Just an update on the game, 94th minute. There's been another goal, and Sunderland have equalised. So it's 1-1 now.
Wow.
Probably because we were down to 10 men.
Doesn't help, doesn't it? You know what it is, Tony? If we played them in the FA Cup, right? We played them. Played the strongest team.
Oh, yeah.
The game would be over in 20 minutes. We'd be free up in 20 minutes. We destroyed them in 20 minutes.
I would love to see Bruno's celebration if he scores against the Mackhams.
I know. He'd probably take his shirt off, put the shirt on to corner flag, picks it up, raise up to the crowd like that. Do
an Aspria.
Yeah, do an Aspria. That'd be amazing, that. Do you know what I mean? But I'll be up for that game if it happens. Newcastle's on in the third round.
LA Coffee says I didn't like the Newcastle top. What? Cesare says, do you guys think that the away stand should be moved closer to the lower tiers? The Villa fans were loud, to their credit, and a back and forth between the away and home fans could improve the atmosphere. I'm not sure, because we used to have the fans down in the Leazes corner, didn't we, John, by the east stand, and then they got moved up to level 7. But yeah, they are a bit high up. I mean, I don't know. It's a contentious one, that, isn't it? I mean, we always remember when the fans, like I say, used to be in that corner when we beat Man United 5-0. Can you remember when Shearer went up to them and gave them some stick? Because they kept giving Shearer stick through the game, and then he scored and went up to them and, you know, give them all that and everything.
I mean,
when you're up at level 7, you can't really do anything, can you?
You cannot, no. But I would love to see the Newcastle fans get that level 7 back. The atmosphere is fantastic on Sir Bobby, right?
Yes, it was.
And then bring the away fans into the corner bit. and I think that'd be the best bet for them at this moment in time. So get the fans back, and then have the level 7, with the singing section up there at level 7. Get that back.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've sat in that section before. I think it was when we played Reading at home in the Premier League. Yeah, so I've sat up in that section before the away fans got it. Yeah,
That'd be brilliant. Bring it in.
Yeah. Cesare says not that the atmosphere hasn't been electric. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic.
We got a club back, Tony. We've got a club back. And you know what it is? When you get your club back, that's brilliant. I mean, the atmosphere now is just absolutely fantastic. No team don't want to come up to Newcastle.
No, absolutely. Chip was saying to Cesare, the Villa fans were buggering off after 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Gary says Newcastle won, Sunderland won. Yeah. Shame we couldn't hold on and get the win against the Mackhams. Paul says, thought something came in by the Premier League about the away fans being closer to the pitch.
They were talking about that as well.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? But I've not really seen any more on that. Newcastle should ban Everton away fans for life. Yeah, I mean, it was discussed on what they had done after the game, throwing flares about and things like that, especially where kids are. Not very nice. Apparently Villa fans kicked off after the game as well, but I'm not sure what happened there. One of my friends posted on Facebook saying they were fighting with police and things like that. There's no need for it. Absolutely no need for it. I mean, when I went to the Arsenal game 10 years ago when we drew 4-4, when we were 4 down at half time, and most of them had gone. Yeah, I mean, my row where I was just about completely empty. I mean, I remember we come out the ground afterwards, and obviously all the fans, we were all singing, you know, seeing you effed it up at 4-0 and all this. And Arsenal supporters, I was really disgusted with them and disappointed because there was police standing on the stairs, holding on to the banisters, and the Arsenal fans were trying to push the police over because they wanted to get to us Newcastle fans because we were singing that song. They didn't like it. And,
exactly.
You know, it was absolutely pathetic, absolutely pathetic. And, yeah, I mean, I just don't know what's wrong with football. I mean, one of the Arsenal fans, he pointed at me and he says, I'm going to have you. So stupidity, I turned around and I said, oh, well, I'll see you at the end then, mate. When I got down the end, he was nowhere to be seen. He'd buggered off. So obviously he was an all mouth, no action type of guy. But, I mean, it's just the way it happens. But it just happened to come out. I just said, oh, yeah, I'll see you at the end. But, he was gone by then. But,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy,
they were absolutely ridiculous over that. Absolutely stupid.
Shocking. It's only a football match at the end of the day. Yeah, if you were 4 up and we only drew 4 each, I'll be disappointed. And I would. No doubt about it. But at the end of the day, right, we showed fight, we showed spirit, and these players wanted to be here. So, yeah, big up to Newcastle and the players for coming back.
Ian says, me and Tommy had to walk through the Villa fans and they were just ballooning and shouting shit at us. Also, we had to help. We both held 4 fingers up to them as well. Absolutely disgraceful. I mean, doing that to children, it's just absolutely, it's so wrong. It's not right at all. Yeah, so this next player, John, I'm going to show you. Now, this one is probably a surprise in here. You've probably heard of him anyway, John. Well, I'll put the guy on screen now. And his name is Jean-Claire Todibo, and he plays for Nice in France. He was at Barcelona as well. He's a young centre-half. He's 22 years old, 6'2". Now, he's not bad. He's got no outstanding strengths, but he's not bad at defending. The only weakness he has got, though, John, is his discipline isn't brilliant. Personally, I've not seen a lot of him. I've seen some good reports on him. I've seen a couple of things where he's tackling. His tackling isn't too bad, but he is very prone to getting a red card. Have you heard anything of him, John? Or
And he's 6'4", by the way.
Is he 6'4"?
6'4". And yeah, he has played for didn't get many games for Barca, by the way. And look, you said about his disciplinary as well. We don't want players with bad reputation, you know what I mean? But he can defend. He can defend. I'm not going to lie, and he's quick. Yeah, and he's played 36 games for the French side, plus 15 on loan. So he's not that bad as well. He probably come if it's going to be sold, it'd probably be at a reasonable price sort of thing as well. So you're looking at about maybe 20 million, something like that. And he's not a French international yet. That's the thing. Maybe because it's his reputation as well. But he just said there, his reputation's poor, by the way, is not great. And he gets sent off quite a few times as well. And also, if I remember says rightly, he got sent off after, 10 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, if there was a toss-up between him and Badiashile, it would be Badiashile all day for me.
Right question.
I mean, would you have him in reserve, John, or would you say I wouldn't even touch him with a barge ball, to be fair? Or do you think Eddie could get his discipline right?
I'll tell you what, if Eddie brings him in, I'm going to have to trust him, yeah? And I'm sure this guy will be sorted out in no time. You know what I mean? I'm sure his English is good, by the way. I think he can speak English. If he does, well done. Yeah, I'm not speaking too close to the mic, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm miles away from the mic as well, so...
My phone's well away, so...
I know.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of them. If he's got bad discipline, do we want to really have a player like that? That's the problem. We don't want another Kieran Clark, do we?
Not really. No, I think he's better than Kieran Clark anyway, this guy. But sent off the 9 seconds, 10 seconds. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
got to be a record.
That's a record.
That's got to be a record.
I mean, can you imagine, right? If you played for us, right, and he got sent off the 9 seconds, I probably would have laughed. You know what I mean? I probably would have laughed. But it's not good, man.
I mean, obviously we've been linked with this guy as well. This is Angelo Gabriel, who plays in Brazil. I don't know a lot about him. Apparently 30 million or something for him. Do you know much about him, John?
I don't. I never watched this guy play, but he's a young lad. We've been linked to him as well, right? Plays for Santos. Scores plenty of goals, by the way. He can play on the left side of midfield. He can play up front. And they rate him so highly, they call him the next Neymar. But I don't want to be linked to him and Neymar, by the way. But I think he looks a decent player, young player. And, again, you got to big him up sort of thing for doing so well. So good luck to him. And I just think, I don't know, Foxy knows more than I do. So,
yeah, if
he does come to Newcastle, I think he'll probably have 1 season development and then he'll probably get in the first team.
Yeah,
17 years old.
Yeah, totally agree, John. Like I say, I don't really watch a lot of Brazilian football, but I've heard he's quite good. He's quite hot property. So, yeah, I'm sure Steve Nixon's having a good look at the Brazilian leagues at the moment. And if there's somebody to be had there, I think we'll take them on.
Absolutely. I honestly think that it's going to... you know what it is, right? I mean, if you take the Brazilians, right, at an early age, right, I think that's good. It's better than taking them at the 28, 29. But for me personally, right, I mean, if he is going to come, then I think he's going to have to either be in the development side or go out on loan, probably to a Portuguese club for a season or so to get his work permit, and then comes back better player sort of thing. So, yeah, but I know people watch them on YouTube, but I'd rather see him live. Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about him earlier, James Maddison, on your show, John. I mean, if there's anybody who can help push us in that top 4 this season in January, if we're still in that position, and that man on screen is definitely the man to help us get there, because this guy is, yes, when he's on his game, he's absolutely unplayable. He can take a free kick as well. So it'll be a fight with him and Trippier for free kicks. But the guy, when he's not diving about, and I think Eddie would knock that out of him, to be fair, but on his day, he's Mr. Creativity. He can do some great through balls. He can pick out a lovely pass. I reckon Callum Wilson be licking his lips, and so I think Isak would be as well. Do you agree with that, John?
100%. I mean, I tell you what, though, it fit in at Newcastle where you've got Joe Linton and Bruno in the midfield.
Yeah.
And if it goes in that midfield three, I think it would improve tenfold, because I think this guy's going to be mint. He's going to get better, play with a bigger club and fun in atmosphere, and he's going to revel it as well. I think this guy's brilliant. Going back to Ian's chat, right, his message in there as well, and saying that Angelo Gabriel played 97 games for Santos, and he's only 17. He plays since he's 15, and he's 97 games. Wow,
that's frightening, isn't it, to think that he's been playing that long already, And yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be fantastic. I mean, yeah. Let's see what the lad can do. Let's see if we're going for him as well. That's the thing as well. We've got to see if we're actually in for him as well. But, the signs are that we're looking at him. So, but do we have to wait till he's 18 before he can come abroad, John? That's the thing from Brazil.
Yes, I think you have to. Like, if you're Brazilian, then you have to wait till you're 18 and that as well. So, and after that's how they operate. So, yeah, that's how it is, mate.
So if we go into Leicester for Maddison in January, do you think we should try and tempt Leicester with a double deal and bring this guy in as well, Tielemans?
I'd take him in Newcastle as well. That guy's absolutely brilliant. He really, really is. I think he needs a new challenge, in my opinion. I think, again, he fits in so well at Newcastle. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be fantastic. He'll love the atmosphere. And he's out of contract at the end of the season. I think that there's got to be a place for him, But again, if you do get both Maddison and Tielemans, right, our midfield is going to be well stocked. What's going to happen to Joe Willock? What's going to happen to Sean Longstaff? Do you know what I mean? So they're going to be well stocked.
But then you've got to be a squad, John. That's the thing. You need strength and depth, and you're going to have it then. I mean, technically, John, realistically, he's got 6 months left in January.
Yeah.
Maddison's got 18 months left. How much would you offer Leicester to get them two over the line? How much do you think Leicester would accept?
Well, I think Maddison would probably want 50 million if he's got 1 year left on his contract, because Ryan Sterling costs 51 million as well, according to Foxy. So 50 million. I'll probably about me personally, I say 50 million, because if you get Tielemans with 6 months left, probably be the same, mate. 50 million for the both. And then the summer, we'll look at it. It could be on free. But I honestly think that Tielemans might go abroad. I think that's my guess. However, if he comes to Newcastle, I'll love that. If he comes to with Maddison for 50 million quid, that'd be a fantastic stand for both. And they're going to do well for us.
Yeah. Well, back in the summer, John, Tielemans did make a statement, and he was asked about Arsenal and that, and he didn't sort of say anything about Arsenal, but he said he wanted to go to a club who's got a great project going on. Now, was that meaning he was wanting to come to Newcastle because we're the club with a great project at the moment? And, is that what Tielemans is thinking?
Could well be, mate. Could well be. Because, look, if he goes to Arsenal, he's not going to get in the first team, to be fair. I mean, Odegaard is playing well. Partey is playing well as well. And Granit Xhaka has played his best football of his career. So they play 4-2-3-1. I can't see Tielemans getting in there at all in the CDM role. But I think Tielemans got a better chance coming to us than Arsenal, to be fair. And he must know what the atmosphere is like at St. James's Park. But we are a project club now, right? If we get top 4, right, we could offer Champions League football. And that is the thing. But some players might think, oh, hang on a minute, Newcastle, we're close to Scotland. Do you know what I mean? But if they're not sure about Newcastle, go on as legends like a Kevin Keegan, an Alan Shearer, David Ginola, Lauren Robert, Nobby Solano, asking the questions about playing for the Eagles, Rob Lee as well. And I'll tell you something, right? They tell them exactly what it's like. Even ask Arsene Wenger, he'll tell you.
Yeah. I mean, if say, for instance, John, say we get this guy in January, Mudryk, who we were talking about earlier on, I know he's got a high price tag, but, you know, if we got him in, do you think this would then open the door to maybe say, right, let's get rid of this guy, either Ryan Fraser or Jacob Murphy? You know, would that open the door to get rid of one of those two in January? And which one would you rather get rid of in January?
Oh, that's a tough one there, Sophie. I think Eddie Howe would rather keep Jacob Murphy, to be fair, over Ryan Fraser because of the history of Bournemouth as well. Look, I mean, Ryan Fraser is a good squad player. I mean, look, a lot of people rate this guy, right? But it's just not been in the first team. And that is the problem. But Murphy's just under a 6-year contract 18 months ago. Just actually to put two fingers up at us, basically. But I think Ryan Fraser can move on this summer, you know. I really do think that because he knows he's going to be in the first team. He'll have 2 years left on his contract as well.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, it's you know, he does try, but he's not good enough, if you know what I mean, John. He's not really cutting it. And I mean, yes, when he was at Bournemouth, he had that great season. Clubs are looking at him like Arsenal and that. But I think his career has just nosedived since he had that fallout with Eddie Howe when he wouldn't sign that 6-week contract, which could have potentially kept Bournemouth in the Premier League had he signed that contract. And it was only for 6 weeks, so I don't know what his beef was about not signing the contract. But yeah, I think we need to cut the losses on him, even if he does go for $1 million or whatever. It doesn't matter. Just get rid. That's the way I look at it, you know. Yeah. I mean, Murphy's contract just doesn't run until 2027, but you know,
correct. Exactly.
But I would say definitely get rid of him. I like Coffee says, did Nicky Butt have a Newcastle chant? Oh, I can't remember, John. Can he? Did he have one? He might have.
Yeah,
but I can't remember.
That Amiron song, so to Amiron.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Ian says Maddison would be an amazing addition. Yeah, absolutely. Chipma says Maddison's a realistic signing. I like Coffee the Morse codes back. Ian says some reports are saying that we are signing him in December when he turns 18 for 25 million. If that's the case, then that's a steal
signing. That's a cracking signing if that is the case, because obviously Santos got high hopes of this guy. Do you know what I mean? But 25 million for an 18-year-old, I say, why not take a gamble? Because at the end of the day, right, he's a young striker. And you know what? Could you imagine, right? But sending 25 million quid, putting him in the first team, right? And he scores winning goals to get us into the Champions League. I tell you what, he'd go down folklore at 18 years old.
Absolutely. And he would learn off the likes of Bruno and Joe Linton as well, wouldn't he? So he's got company there in midfield, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Ian says we'll need depth for Europe and for cups. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when we finished 5th 10 years ago, we bought one player the next season, and what happened? It didn't work. So yeah, you have to have strength and depth, unfortunately, for European competition. Paul says with our form at the minute, I think we'll be easy to attract players, as I think a lot in the summer would have been all a bit cautious. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I totally agree with that one. I think on this one is now that players are probably looking at us and probably thinking, wow, look at the way they play. I mean, especially the way we took the game to Spurs, the way we took the game to Man City after going 1-0 down, we didn't panic, you know. Yeah. So the signs are good. I mean, your thoughts on that comment, John?
I think it's absolutely right. I mean, you're in a good position, right? And I think the players there want to play for the club and you know, just an easy sell. You've got the best young manager in the country in Eddie Howe. You've got some cracking players in Newcastle, such as Kieran Trippier, Bruno, Joe Linton, Callum Wilson as well, Nick Pope. And they can say, you know what? I want a piece of this as well, you know. Cracking fans, cracking atmosphere, 52,000 every single week. And do you know what? I think we're a serious club now. We are definitely a serious football club. And if you put the January to May form into this season, we'd be solid top 4.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Totally agree. 98 Gaming says, hasn't Murphy just signed a 5-year deal? No, he signed a 6-year contract a couple of years ago when Ashley was here. Gary says it ends 2027. I think. Yeah, I think it's
Gary.
2026. I think, or 27. Yeah. Alan says I would get rid of Fraser and Murphy if we had a backup. Yeah. The only problem is, though, it's Murphy's long contract. How do we get rid of him? You know, but it would have to be some club coming in to pay his wages and take him off our hands. But definitely, I think Fraser would probably be the easier one to definitely get rid of anyway. Your thoughts on that, John?
I think it will, because Ryan Fraser was a player, first team football. And another thing is, he's on 80k a week because he came on free. I think he's on 80k a week. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Fraser's got left on his deal, but
2.5. He's got 2.5 years to go.
Has he?
Yeah,
so you need a team that's gonna pay that sort of money, and you need to get them off the books. You know, it's going to be hard. Maybe one of them, you send them on loan to Scotland, to Rangers or somewhere like that. You'd probably flourish up there. To be fair, Fraser. I think anybody could. I think you could grab a player from League Two and stick them in Scottish football in the Premier League up there, and they'd play well. They'd look a world beater. You know, I mean. You look at that Joe Rebo, he went from Charlton in League One to Scotland, played absolutely blinding, and he's actually doing well for Southampton, to be fair.
Yeah, one of the better players.
You know, but he's gone to Scotland first into their Premier League, and then he's come down to the English Premier League. But sometimes players come from Scotland and they can't cut it in the Premier League.
I know, that's the thing. I hope Alan Armstrong play on Sunday, though, when he faces Sven Botman. He would be for a shock.
He's not done well at all, John. I think he's proven he's a championship striker. He's not a Premier League player. And it looks like we were right to get rid.
I agree. And all these people saying, go and get him back, go and get him back. Really?
Because he scored 21 goals for Blackburn, didn't he, in the championship? But he's done nothing for Southampton whatsoever, has he?
Not at all, mate. But Che Adams is a good player, though. But he'll get found out by Botman as well. We're going to be too strong.
Yeah, he will do. Oh, gosh, yeah, John. I mean,
too strong for them.
I think we'll roll them over. The way we're playing at the minute, if we got beat off them, John, I'm not being funny. If we lost to them, then
we're not making Champions League.
That would be bad. Yeah, but there's no way we're going to lose to them.
We can't. You cannot.
No
way.
These are the games you've got to win, John. These are the games you need. These are what you call your bread and butter games. And then when you play against your bigger teams, like your Cities and your Man Uniteds or your Liverpools and that's where you try and aim for a point at least, or try and get the 3, you know, like we did against Spurs. But the future's bright, John. And, you know, it's nice to have a little early transfer show and just have a delve into a few players and see how we would have and who we would have in the squad. And all we can say is let's see what January brings, and let's hope we bring somebody in like a Maddison or somebody like that, and but we trust the owners at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've done a wonderful job. Our owners done 220 million, right, on the right players. Do you know what I mean? And so far, so good. What a year! What does the year makes as well? 15 years of Ashley, right? Spending very little money, right? And here we are competing, right? And look where we are. It just goes to show if you compete, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely. So, guys, we're coming to the end of the show now. But thank you for everybody in the chat who's been on tonight and coming on to watch. Absolutely brilliant. If you like what you see, then please hit those like buttons. That really helps me go up the search settings and people can find the channel a lot easier and help it grow. Also, If you haven't yet subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so, and also hit that bell notification, and that will also tell you when any videos come on and be uploaded and I come on live. So John, thanks very much for coming on my channel again tonight, mate. And you'll see me and John again on Wednesday when it's the dynamic duo, because that's our regular Wednesday slot. And we should have our combined 11 Newcastle teams. So I hope John's been doing his homework as well, and has his combined 11 team, because I'm down to see what John's got. So John, would you like to tell everybody where they can find you on your socials, please, and your channel?
No problem. Thanks so much for having us on, Tony. I really appreciate that. You can find us on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, John Sinclair TV. And if you like to go on Insta, it's John Sinclair 50. And if you like to go on Twitter, it's John_NUFC 42. So, and on my channel, or John Sinclair TV, I do the fans forum, the previews, reviews, player ratings. Also do the Premier League roundup on Tuesday, predicting the score. And on Monday, excuse me, we try to do the transfer window live, transfer updates live on a Monday, and fans forum, and also the watch along, hopefully coming back soon. So yeah, just do everything really.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, John. Well said, mate. And for me, you can find me down there at TonyTooney31. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Also, you can find me now on the channel. You know where my channel is. It's all Black and White TV. Thank you to everybody who's came on and subscribed and liked the channel so far. Absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely thankful to everybody who's came on and, like I say, subscribed and liked the shows. And I'm trying to bring you as much good content as I can possibly bring you. I like coffee, says bye, John and all. Bye-bye. Gary says Southampton is one place above the drop zone as it stands, lads.
We need to win that
Interesting.
game.
Yeah, we've got to. Ian says top show, lads. Thank you very much, Ian. Hope to see you on the channel again, mate. Don't forget on a Thursday, if you want to come on, I've got the fan zone on. You can come on to that. And Gary says, take care, everyone. Thank you very much, Gary, for your support, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you,
Alan
Gary.
says, great show, lads. Thank you very much, Gary. And
Thanks,
John
Alan.
says, enjoyed the show, Tony and John. Cheers, Gary. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it, mate. And yeah, so that's it, guys. But like I say, thank you for coming on. Oh, and we've got Andrew. Ta-ta for now, lads. Ta-ta for now to you as well, Andrew.
Big up, Andrew.
And
take care, mate.
Keep dancing, Andrew. Because he likes his bit of Strictly.
He does.
He's never gonna live that down now, you see.
Nah.
That's the problem. But guys, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you, John, for coming on my channel again.
No
It's been
problem,
a pleasure
mate.
to have you on, mate. And I bid you all farewell and good night.
Nice.